Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Narrator, soft but dramatic tone. What happens when a rising star wins the biggest award of his career, then turns to confess his feelings in front of thousands? Last night, Chen Zheyuan shocked everyone at Weibo Night not just with his victory, but with a heartfelt moment that left Zhao Lusi visibly blushing. You won't believe what he said, or how she reacted. On a night bathed in lights, camera flashes, and the quiet hum of anticipation, the air inside the grand auditorium of Weibo Night 2023 felt electric. The stage, adorned in elegance, had already seen its fair share of laughter, glamour, and celebration. But when the host called out the name Chen Zheyuan as one of the recipients of the Qingyun Rising Actor of the Year award, the atmosphere shifted from excitement to something more profound, something unforgettable. Chen Zheyuan stepped forward not just as an actor being recognized, but as a young man on the cusp of a transformative moment in his journey. He walked with quiet confidence, every movement marked by humility. Dressed in a sleek black suit tailored to precision, he carried the air of someone deeply aware of what this honor meant, not just to his career, but to the countless fans who had supported him through every challenge, every role, and every breakthrough. As he took the stage and accepted the trophy, his expression was calm, but his eyes held a glimmer of something more. Perhaps nerves, perhaps emotion, perhaps both. He began his speech like many before him, thanking the organizers, the crew, and his loyal audience. But then unexpectedly his tone changed. He paused for a second longer than usual, as though weighing whether to speak from the heart. Then gently, he turned his gaze toward the audience, not scanning the crowd but locking eyes with someone. That someone was Zhao Lusi. What he said next was not dramatic, not rehearsed, and not wrapped in flowery words. It was simple, but it carried the weight of genuine feeling. "Thank you for inspiring me," he said, "for always shining, even when you didn't know I was watching." In that single sentence, he bridged the gap between stage and soul, between public performance and personal truth. It was not merely a thank you, it was a confession. Subtle but clear enough for everyone in the room to feel its warmth ripple through the silence. Cameras captured the moment Zhao Lusi heard her name, and the shift in her expression told its own story. First confusion, as if wondering whether she'd heard correctly, then surprise, and finally the undeniable flush of emotion spreading across her face. She smiled, shy, almost unsure, but deeply moved. In a space filled with polished images and controlled appearances, this single unscripted exchange felt raw, real, and human. Chen Zheyuan's words were not just a highlight of the evening. They became a rare moment of emotional clarity in the ever-curated world of entertainment. It was not about spectacle but sincerity, and as the audience applauded, some enthusiastically and others quietly in awe, one truth settled among everyone watching. This was more than an award. It was a heartfelt tribute, and perhaps the beginning of something more. For a brief, fleeting moment, the noise of the auditorium seemed to fade. The lights still sparkled, the cameras still rolled, but the focus had shifted, not to the award itself, but to a single person seated quietly among the rows of distinguished guests. Zhao Lusi. Her reaction was not one of calculated performance or a polished red carpet smile, but of raw, honest emotion. And that is precisely what made it unforgettable. As Chen Zheyuan's words echoed through the hall, gentle yet deliberate, "Thank you for inspiring me, for always shining, even when you didn't know I was watching." There was an almost imperceptible pause, as if time had bent itself slightly to give her space to feel. The audience turned their heads instinctively, the cameras pivoted with precision, and the entire nation, watching from screens across the world, witnessed a transformation. Zhao Lusi's face registered a series of emotions in quick succession. At first, there was disbelief, her brows drawing ever so slightly together, as though questioning whether he had truly meant her. Then came surprise, her eyes widened, and her hand moved subtly, instinctively, toward her face. But what came next was the most telling. A soft, involuntary smile played across her lips. It was not the rehearsed charm of a celebrity used to attention, but the vulnerable expression of someone genuinely touched. Her cheeks flushed with a delicate shade of rose, the kind that not even makeup can replicate, revealing a glimpse into her innermost thoughts. She lowered her eyes for a moment, almost as if to collect herself. In that silence, she didn't speak a word, yet said everything. Her body language, modest, slightly withdrawn but undeniably moved, communicated more than applause or speeches ever could. She was overwhelmed not by the spotlight, but by the sincerity of the moment. The boundary between fiction and reality blurred for just a second, and what the audience saw wasn't a character in a drama, but Zhao Lusi the person, unfiltered, emotionally disarmed. In the aftermath, as social media buzzed with rewinds and screenshots of her reaction, fans across the globe began to dissect every frame. But what made the moment truly resonate wasn't how cute or unexpected it was how real it felt. In a world where celebrities are so often shielded behind layers of publicity and image management, Zhao Lusi's vulnerability was a breath of fresh air. She reminded everyone watching that no matter how famous or admired someone becomes, the experience of being seen, truly seen, can still take your breath away. Later, when asked about the moment in a quiet backstage interview, she admitted softly, "I didn't expect that. It caught me off guard, but it was very kind." That was all she needed to say, because the emotion had already spoken. And for those who watched her that night, perhaps the most beautiful thing wasn't the glamour or the gowns, but the truth reflected in her silence. In an industry built on image, precision, and curated perfection, it is rare to witness a moment that feels truly unguarded, something unscripted, sincere, and quietly transformative. That is precisely why Chen Zheyuan's public expression of admiration towards Zhao Lusi resonated so deeply. It was not just a sweet exchange between two stars. It was a moment that reminded millions why we care about these figures in the first place. Not for the perfection they project, but for the humanity they reveal when the cameras catch them off guard. We live in an age where celebrity interactions are often filtered through layers of media strategy and public relations. Every glance, every comment, every seat arrangement is calculated, often stripped of spontaneity. So when Zheyuan, standing on a stage that had likely taken weeks to design and plan, chose to veer off script, to say something personal and vulnerable, it struck a chord that went far beyond the walls of the venue. In that brief moment, he stepped outside the glittering machinery of fame and showed the world a piece of himself. A young man shaped by his admiration, moved by a presence that had inspired him in silence. And Zhao Lusi, in her genuine and unfiltered response, completed the picture. She did not put on a performance. She did not seek to control the narrative. She allowed herself to be visibly affected, and in doing so, she invited the audience into something rare: emotional honesty. This exchange was not remarkable simply because it was romantic or dramatic, but because it felt true, felt human. For their fans, especially those who have followed both actors through their separate careers and shared screen moments, the interaction was more than just thrilling. It was validating. It gave weight to years of speculation, to quiet hopes whispered in comment sections, to every moment on screen that felt a little too real to be just acting. But even for those unfamiliar with their work, the power of the moment lay in its universal relatability. Who hasn't longed to be acknowledged by someone they admire? Who hasn't at some point hidden their feelings, unsure if they were noticed at all? This was not a declaration soaked in spectacle, but a gentle reveal, one that asked for nothing in return, yet offered everything in meaning. In the eyes of many, it was a risk. After all, the entertainment world often thrives on ambiguity. But in that moment, ambiguity was cast aside in favor of something more powerful: sincerity. That's what made this moment matter. Not because it confirmed a rumor, or hinted at a romance, but because it broke through the noise. It was a reminder that even beneath the polished surface of fame, there are still real emotions, real admiration, and perhaps even real affection. And for a brief, unforgettable instant, the world was allowed to witness it. Quiet, vulnerable, and profoundly moving. Narrator. Sources close to both stars say the two have been growing closer over the past year, working together, attending events, and frequently showing up in each other's Weibo comments. Nothing official. Until now. And yes, Zhao Lusi did repost the clip of Chen's speech with a single emoji, pleading face. Fans took that as confirmation that something special might truly be blooming. Narrator. And here's something you probably didn't know. Chen Zheyuan personally requested to sit closer to Zhao Lusi at the ceremony. The seating chart was adjusted just hours before the event. Was he planning this moment all along? Even more touching, after the show ended, several fans reported seeing the two chatting privately near the photo wall, with Chen handing her a small bouquet. No media caught that, but fans did. Narrator. Whether it's love, friendship, or something still undefined, one thing is clear. Moments like this are why we watch. In a world full of noise, this was a whisper of something real, genuine, human. So here's to bold hearts, blushing smiles, and stories that remind us, sometimes it only takes one sentence to change everything. Narrator. Friendly tone. If this story warmed your heart, inspired your curiosity, or made you smile even for a moment, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more real stories, heartfelt confessions, and behind-the-scenes exclusives coming your way. Only here on Update X24H. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.